The following is a presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past. Oops, helps if I say the right word. Past, present, and future. Sometimes you get a scheduled 5-game series, and for the Kansas City Royals and Baltimore Orioles, that's what they got. Starting on a starting on a Thursday, a twilight doubleheader on a Friday, which you're about to see, and regular games on a Saturday and Sunday. 5 nights, 5 chances for the Orioles to pull ahead in the East, and they start with a big 8-2 win over the Kansas City Royals. The Royals struck first. Willie Aikens walked home George Brett with the bases loaded, but back came the Orioles in a hurry. Gary Renicky hit a grand slam, his 10th homer of the year, to make it 4-1 the bottom of the first. George Brett hit an RBI single to make it 4-2 in the second, and then back came the Birds. Cal Ripken with his 23rd of the year in the third, and then Rich Dower with a big 2-run single to blow the Royals out of the water 7-2. They could have made it worse. Jim Palmer gets the win. He goes to 9-6. Vida is feeling kind of blue. He goes to 8-8 on the year. The Orioles 64-40 and in first place in the American League East. As Retro Sports Network presents an old-fashioned doubleheader tonight from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Knock out those Chesterfields, baby. It's the Kansas City Royals and the Baltimore Orioles in a twilighter. Frost goes in game 1 for Kansas City, and Storm Davis for the Birds. On an 88-degree night in Baltimore. Well, so this should be fun and a big night of exciting streaming here on the Friends of the Community. Starting with a doubleheader here on Retro Sports Network, you'll see both games between the Kansas City Royals and Baltimore Orioles. And I think we're going to shoot for Saturday nights now to finish the season. Like 5 or 6 weeks to go. So we should have a game for you pretty much sometime on Saturday evening the rest of the way. So tonight, it's a doubleheader between Baltimore and Kansas City. And then the debut of Wrestling Chat with Dave Little and Sports Time Machine Michael Bowes, Mr. Utah Mike. That is at 9. And then approximately 10:30, wrap up your Saturday night in a bow with a nice edition of Chat with Al. I'm sure the last episode of Game of Thrones will be talked about. So a busy, busy night here in the Friends of the Community. And so let's start with the series between Baltimore and Kansas City. Kansas City has fallen behind California in the race of the American League West. They desperately need to take at least 3 out of the 5 here from Baltimore. And, of course, as I said, Baltimore won the opener last night 8-2. So Baltimore has a chance now to really put some distance between themselves, the Tigers, and the Brewers. And the Brewers, as we now hit August 6th on the year, need to make some hay before Raleigh Fingers is gone for the year. But for now, it's Storm Davis and the Orioles against the Kansas City Royals. 88 degrees, the wind's blowing hard. Right to left at 17 miles an hour. And, of course, how you doing, Kirk? Good to have you along. This is a doubleheader. So, 2 for the price of 1 tonight. As Storm Davis makes his warm-up tosses. And here are the standings. The Orioles have won 8 of 10, including their last 2 straight, to have a 4-game lead over the Tigers, 6.5 over Milwaukee. And Toronto now 11 back. Toronto kind of falling out of it. In the West, Kansas City 5 behind California. They need something out of this. They cannot afford to give the Angels a chance to go 7 up. They're only 2 games above the Chicago White Sox. And we know how much you guys love Dennis Lamp. Here's the big problem for Kansas City. They have a run differential of -7, which Chicago and California do not have. They are well above the positives. Montreal's won 7 straight. They have an 11-game lead over the Phillies. You'll see Philly and Pittsburgh Tuesday afternoon at noon. And then Los Angeles, 70-39, have a 11.5-game lead over Atlanta. So those are the standings. Doubleheader, twice as many puns. And so, yep, twice as many puns. Hopefully you say along. And as I said, a big night here for the friends of the community. Wrestling chat at 9 Eastern and chat without approximately 10:30. So let's tell you about Storm Davis. He's about to make his 4th start of the year, his 21st appearance. He is 3-2 with no saves and an ERA of 3.38. Ow, as my neck snapped. He went last night, or no, a week ago against Kansas City in Kansas City. He went 1/3 of an inning, as Ron remembers his dates wrong. Allowed a hit, so 50 2/3 innings, 41 hits, 4 home runs allowed, 20 runs in total, 19 earned. He has walked 18 and struck out 30. He's a fastball pitcher. His fastball tops out at 91. Here's the lineup for the Royals in Game 1. Willie Wilson will lead off in left field. UL Washington and his merry band of toothpicks will play short and bat second. George Brett, the third baseman, will bat third. Hal McRae cleans up. He's the DH. Willie Aikens, the first baseman, bats fifth. Hammond, not sure who he is. He's the right fielder. He'll go sixth. Frank White, the second baseman, will bat seventh. Geronimo, the center fielder, will bat eighth. And Jamie Quirk, the catcher, will bat ninth. And Frost, not sure who he is. Boy, you can tell this is a doubleheader. Will throw about 95 pitches. Defensively for the Orioles in Game 1, John Lowenstein, a 5 and a 2 in left. Al Bunbury, an 8 and a 6 in center. Jim Dwyer is in right. He's a 4 and a 3. Around the infield, Rich Dower is at third. He's a 3. That's not very good. Cal Ripken at short. He's a 5 out of 10. Len Sakata is at second. He's a 3. Eddie Murray, the heart of this defense, a 10 at first. And Joe Nolan flying the traffic copter and catching behind the plate. He's a 2 and a 5. And so they'll play back for Wilson at 318, a homer and 21 RBI. And we are ready to go. 18 innings of baseball starting right now. And Wilson bunts out one foul behind the plate, and the count goes to 0-2. Yeah, I think Hal McRae had a toothpick. I think you're right about that. Waiting for the Preakness. Bet the 7 horse. Okay. And baseball, what do you got on the table tonight there, Mr. Dave Parappa? 0-2 the count to Wilson. Here's the pitch. And there's a fly ball to right. Dwyer goes back in the corner, and that's off the wall. In fact, it's gone. It's a home run. He hit that into that 17-mile-an-hour wind, and it's 1-0 Kansas City right off the bat. Let's watch it again. And there's a high fly ball, and Dwyer turned and watched it go. So, no, the disqualified horse is not running in the Preakness. How you doing, Kurt? And so we're going to get Manic Monday recorded tonight. Baseball demos. We'll be recording the Pirates and the Expos from May 20th, 1978. And you'll see that Monday at noon on his channel. So UL Washington steps up at 260. 8 home runs and 31 RBI. Davis delivers. Ground ball to Ripken. Over to Murray. 1 out. So 1 out for George Brett at 304. 14 homers and 74 RBI. Not the start that Davis wanted. You don't think of Willie Wilson having power. But that he does. And there's a fly ball to right center. Bunbury runs a long way and makes a fantastic catch against the Cyclone fencing in front of the Oriole bullpen. He robbed him actually of a home run. How about that? A leaping catch. Well, no. Susanna Hoffs isn't going to join you. I'm sorry. So here's Hal McRae. Hal at 306. 16 homers and 70 RBI. I bet she would join Hal McRae, though. Davis delivers, and there's a ground ball to Murray. Takes it to the bag himself, and that will retire the side. Not before the Royals get a run on that solo shot by Willie Wilson. Half an inning in the books. It's Kansas City 1-0 over Baltimore. And yep, what a play by the Bumblebee, Al Bunbury. So it's Dave Frost. Not Jack, but Dave. He's 3-3 on the year with a 4.77 ERA. He is making his 12th start of the year. He is 3-3, which I think I said. His last appearance came against Baltimore 5 nights ago in Kansas City, and they hammered him. Baltimore absolutely Christmas treed Frosty. 5 2/3 innings, 12 hits, 7 runs, all earned. He walked 3 and didn't strike out anybody, so that was an easy night for the Chesterfields for Earl. 71 2/3 innings, 85 hits, 7 home runs, 40 in total, 38 earned runs. He has walked 27 and struck out 17, and his ERA went from 4.23 to 4.77, and here's a lineup that he will face. I would share a toothpick with her too. In fact, my wife might actually give me the box of toothpicks to share. So it's Frost versus Storm. Yes it is. On a blustery night, on a warm night in Baltimore. Al Bunbury will lead it off for the Birdies. Jim Dwyer will bat second. Ken Singleton, the switch hitter, is your DH. He'll go third. Eddie Murray is your first baseman. He'll bat fourth. John Lowenstein, his beer is what you would share with Susanna Hoffs. He will bat fifth. Cal Ripken will go sixth. Joe Nolan behind the plate. And Dave likes dreaming, and so does Kenny Nolan. Rich Dower, as I said, is at third and will bat eighth. Len Cicada, just another game with him, will bat ninth. And Storm Davis, 11 pitches in the first. Defensively for the Royals, Willie Wilson's in left. He's an 8-2. Cesar Geronimo is a 3-5 in center. Hammond, good defender, 8-9. Not if his name is Albert, then we'll know it never rains in Southern California. George Brett is, of course, a 6 at third. UL Washington, a 5 at short. Frank White is a perfect 10 at second. Willie Aikens is a 5 at first, and Jamie Quirk behind the plate. In game 1, he's a 2 and a 4. Well, Rick Dempsey did not have a great year, and of course, this being a doubleheader, I'm sure Dempsey will catch game 2. I mean, Jamie Quirk wasn't the Royals' primary catcher either. So with all that, here's Al Bunbury at 273, 4 homers and 39 RBI. Dwyer on deck, and Bunbury strikes out. So Frost got him on a 1-2 pitch for strike 3. Frost, if you're wondering, that fastball tops out at 85, and he's a ground ball pitcher. Here's Dwyer at 389, 3 homers and 18 RBI. I don't know. It's not Underwriting Laboratories, which is what UL stands for. The rest of the way. Unless you've been through the desert with a horse with no name. Oh, that's going to be the winner of the Preakness tonight, is a horse with no name, right? Frost delivers, and Dwyer draws the walk. And I'll bring up Kenny Singleton. That didn't do anything for my voice. He's hitting .251 right on the button for his real number. 9 homers and 47 RBI. Dwyer on first, 1 out. Bottom of the first, game 1. We're playing 2 here tonight. Throw to first, Dwyer's back. Dwyer actually had a 74% chance of stealing. Throw home, Singleton popped it up, right side. White goes on the grass, 1 away, or 2 away. For Murray at 334, 22 homers and 82 RBI. 1-0 Kansas City. Washington is his given name, UL. Okay. Would never have guessed. Dwyer goes. The throw down to Washington is not in time. He had a coin flip chance of taking the base. Earl kind of has a mini heart attack in the dugout, and Dwyer's on second with a second steal. So runner in scoring position for Murray in a 0-1 count. Frosty deals, struck him out. He got him to chase an 0-2 pitch. A breaking ball, no runs, no hits, no errors. After 1. Kansas City 1, Baltimore nothing. It'll be Willie Aikens, Hammond, and White. For the Royals here in the second, Aikens at 286, 13 homers, and 51 RBI. Look on Baseball Reference. That usually has everyone's given name. Davis delivers, and Aikens sends this one in the high and deep into right. Dwyer is there on the track to make the catch. It's Steve Hammond, and that he looks so happy in that picture. Anyway, he's hitting 163 with 3 RBI, 8 for 49 on the year, and the right fielder was a big part of the Royal bench, I guess. Davis deals, and Hammond draws a walk. So that was a 3-0 count. Fastball missed, and now I'll bring up Frank White. Frank at 243, a season-long slump, 3 homers and 32 RBI. Davis delivers, strike 3. Strike 3 called on a 1-2 fastball, and that's the first strikeout for Davis. Here is Cesar Geronimo at 321, 4 homers and 17 RBI, 26 for 81, with his time on the Royals. 2 out, top the second. Davis deals. Strike. Hammond didn't go. Didn't get a good jump. And the count is 0-1. Pitch to Geronimo. Struck him out. An 0-2 curveball right down Broadway. And Geronimo, he stood there like a barn on the side of the road. No runs, no hits, no errors. After an inning and a half, 1-0 Royals. All right, Al's going to go watch the Preakness. So it'll be John Lowenstein, Cal Ripken, and Joe Nolan for the Orioles here in the second. Lowenstein at 226, 10 homers and 34 RBI. Frost delivers, and there's a base hit left side, and Lowenstein has a single. Is he going for 2? He could, but Earl says no. So that'll bring up Cal. Ripken at 272, 203 home runs, and 76 RBI. So Frost, runner on first, delivers, and Cal pops this one into center. Back goes Geronimo. That's off the wall. Lowenstein will round third. He's going to score without a throw. Ripken's there with a double. Standing, and it's 1-1, and I'm going to take another sip here. So Frost hung one there, and Ripken's on with a double. For Joe Nolan at 268, 2 homers and 14 RBI. Rich Dower on deck, 1-1 the score. Pitch from Frost is a liner into right center. That's going to drop in front of Hammond. Ripken will hold on at third, as Hammond has a good arm, and the Orioles have runners in the corners for Rich Dower. Nobody out. So Dower at 249, 4 homers and 39 RBI. Frost delivers, and there's a base hit left side. Ripken will score. Nolan goes to third. Dower has the single between Brett and Washington, and the Orioles go up 2-1. How you doing? So it is just UL Washington from Stringtown, Oklahoma. Stringtown is where all the cats learn to sing, right? Because it sounds like when they do that, they're either drinking or playing with some rock gut. Cicada at the plate, Lenny at 276, 4 homers and 39 RBI. How you doing, Dave Gardner? Pitch from Frost as a ground ball to White. Nolan's going to score. Throw to Washington to 1, over to Aikens. and that should be two. It is. It's a double play, but the Orioles put another one up on the board. So Nolan will score to make it 3-1 Baltimore. And Dave Frost has had 9 batters, 33 pitches, over an inning and 2/3. 4 hits, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Bunbury was one of those strikeouts to start the game for Baltimore. And so Frost delivers. Bases empty, ground ball to White, over to Akins. And how you doing, ID? And that will retire the side. The Orioles, 3 runs on 4 hits and no errors. After 2, it's Baltimore 3, Kansas City 1. And for those of you popping in, here are the standings. We won't go through the National League, but the Orioles have a 4-game lead over the Tigers. And the Royals trail the Angels by 5. And this is a 5-game series between the Royals and the Orioles. A wraparound Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and this doubleheader is from Friday, August 6, 1982. Jamie Quirk steps up to the plate at .277, 2 homers and 6 RBI. Storm Davis delivers, and there's a base hit up the middle, so Quirk has a single, the second hit for the Royals. Davis, 26 pitches through 9 batters, that's excellent. 2 innings plus 2 hits, the home run to this man, Willie Wilson. A walk and 2 strikeouts. Throw to first, Quirk's going, what are you doing, man? Pitch to Wilson, struck him out. Swung on and missed on an 0-2 fastball, 1 out for UL, which is U period L period, but as Dave Baseball Demos says, that's his given name. The U and the L don't have a particular meaning. You know what? I would venture to guess. We'll do the batter first here. As Washington strikes out on a 2-2 fastball, swung on and missed, strike 3. So that's 4 for Davis. I would venture to guess. I would bet that a parent had the last name of a U and the other parent had the last name of an L. The Oreos are your favorite team. Yeah, they're my favorite cookie. The origin of the toothpick is used to play with a blade of Bermuda grass in his mouth. Okay. Of course, Kansas City had astroturf, so he chose a toothpick instead. Grass is much safer. And I wouldn't want to be putting that turf in my mouth. Ugh. George Brett, 0 for 1. Runner on first is Quirk. Brett sends this one into center. Back goes Bunbury, and he makes the catch to retire the side. No runs. No 1 hit and no errors. 2.5 in the books. Remember, this is a doubleheader. Baltimore 3, Kansas City 1. Yeah, I think as we look through that, I think somebody had a U and somebody had an L. Jim Dwyer, Kenny Singleton, and Eddie Murray for the Birds here in the 3rd. Dwyer walked and stole a base his first time up. Frost delivers, and Dwyer ground ball to Brett. Makes a diving stop by the bag over to Akins for the out. Maybe he was born... Oh, you got the groan. You got the groan. Maybe he was born near Christmas, and his parents considered him a Yuletide greeting. Wow. Don't quit your day job, okay? Here's Ken Singleton. He's 0 for 1. You know, I read Dave's stuff, and I think he's going to be serious. I should know better about that. Pitch to Singleton. It's a ground ball base hit up the middle past White, and so the Orioles have their 5th hit. So 1 out single for Singleton, which actually would be a Singleton now that I think about it. Brings up Eddie Murray, who struck out his first time up. Kenny Castro from a press box in Norwell, Massachusetts. Nice night for a track meet. This is up here anyway. Pitch to Murray. Ball 4. So Frost has been cold on the hill. So Singleton moves to second. Murray on first for Lowenstein. And John had a single and a run scored in the 2nd. And as appropriate, Dave's comments are like a box of chocolates. You never know which one you're going to get. You could say the same thing for Gardner as well. Quirk goes out to talk to Frost, so a quirky Frost, that'd be kind of like Vermont weather this May. Ground ball to White, goes to Washington for one, over to first, and Akins can't get it. So they get the runner out at second, and the run scores. Singleton will score. The throw to first was low and in the dirt, and Akins couldn't scoop it out. So it's an E6 for Washington, and 2 out for Cal Ripken, who doubled, drove in a 77th run, and scored himself. So that's a 4-6 on the fielder's choice and an E6. Pitch to Ripken is a liner that's going to drop in front of Geronimo in center. Lowenstein goes to third. And Baltimore, again, runners in the corners in a 4-1 lead here in the bottom of the third. For Joe Nolan, who had a single and a run scored. Ken Castro with a comeback of the century. Sympathy for your tormented spouse. Baseball demos. Pitch to Nolan. Struck him out, so Frost got the freeze onto him on an 0-2 fastball, swung on and missed. 1 run on 2 hits and an error after 3. Baltimore 4, Kansas City 1. So McRae, Akins, and Hammond for the Royals here in the 4th. McRae is 0 for 1. Davis delivers. Ground ball to Murray. Takes it to the bag himself, 1 away. Brings up Akins. Willie is 0 for 1. Flew out to very deep right center, according to the text. This one goes back to Davis. Comebacker over to first, and there's 2 away. So Steve Hammond, who walked his first time up, 2 out, top the 4th. Davis deals, and there's a base hit into right center field. Bunbury will pick it up on a hop, and they have yet to retire Hammond. The proverbial Texas leaguer. Frank White struck out his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Pitch from Davis. There goes Hammond. The throw down to Cicada, and it's not in time. And so Earl lights up another Chesterfield in the dugout on that. And a 28% chance to steal the base, and he did. So 0-1 the count to White. Hammond in scoring position on second. Davis deals. Ground ball to Ripken. Makes a fantastic stop. Long throw to Murray to retire the side. How about that? Diving stop by Ripken to make the play. No run, 1 hit, no errors. 3.5 in the books. Baltimore 4, Kansas City 1. It's amazing how the chat quieted down after that. So look at the right side, Ronnie. Dower, Cicada, and Bunbury to face Frosty here in the 4th. Dower singled home a run in the 2nd. He's 1 for 1. Frost steals. Ground ball up the middle. White by the bag at 2nd over to Akins. Where they out? Brings up Cicada. Lenny grounded into a double play his first time up. Frost steals. And there's a ground ball to Washington, who makes another diving stop. Throw to Akins to retire the side. The Orioles needed to have Frost get a quick inning, and they did. No runs, no hits, no errors. Oh, there's only 2 out. Oh, boy. Here's Bunbury. Al is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. So through 18 batters, Frost at 68 pitches, 3 2/3 innings. 6 hits. 4 runs, 3 earned. He's walked 2 and struck out 3. Bunbury struck out once, and it will line this one into right center. Geronimo should have made a play onto that, and Bunbury turned a single into a double. That one found the alley, and that's a hard bomb because the wind is just blowing in from right center at 21 now. Here's Dwyer. Dwyer walked and stole a base. He's 0 for 1. So much for Frost's quick inning. Ground ball to White. That should take care of things. Over to Akins, and that will retire the side. So, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error by the broadcaster, none on the Royals. After 4, it's Baltimore 4, Kansas City 1. So, Geronimo, Quirk, and Wilson here to face Davis in the 5th. And Davis, at this point, has a decent chance of getting the CG in the first game of the doubleheader. Now that I've jinxed him, Geronimo struck out his first time up. And Hint sends this one into center. Bunbury, 1 away. Jamie Quirk singled. He's 1 for 1. Frost probably has 1 more inning in him. He's at 78 pitches. Could go 95 around that. Pitch to Quirk. Ball 4. So Quirk on first. 1 out for Wilson. Started the game with a homer and then struck out his second time up. So Davis threw 18 batters, 58 pitches, 4 1/3 innings, 3 hits. The 1 homer to Wilson. Walked 2 and struck out 4. Davis deals, struck him out. An 0-2 pitch on the inside corner. And there's 2 away for UL Washington. And as we've learned tonight, that is his given name. He's 0 for 2 with the strikeout. Davis deals. Struck him out. Fastball at the belt, and that will retire the side. Halfway home here in Game 1. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 4 1/2, it's Baltimore 4. Kansas City 1. So Willie Wilson in with the lone run for Kansas City. And Cal Ripken keeping up that hot hitting, 2 for 2 tonight. Pitching-wise, Frost, as I said, he's pretty much done. He'll start the inning, I'm sure. And Storm Davis is cruising right along, 66 pitches and 6 strikeouts through 5. Kenny Singleton's 1 for 2. He's got a single and a run scored. Pitch from Frost is a ground ball to Washington over to Akins for the out, 1 away. So I'm waiting for Al to tell me who won the horse race. Here's Eddie Murray. He has walked and struck out. He's 0 for 1. A run on 3 hits and an error for Kansas City. 4 runs on 7 hits and no errors for Baltimore. Pitch to Murray is a fly ball to center. Geronimo goes way back there, and that's long gone. So he turned and watched it go, and Murray just slammed that one to dead center into that 17-mile-an-hour wind, and that's his 23rd of the year. Watch it again. It didn't look like it was gone off the bat. I thought Geronimo was going to get there, but it just kept going and going and going, kind of like the Energizer Bunny. And it's 5-1 Baltimore in Game 1. Brings up John Lowenstein, 1 for 2. He has singled and scored. Frost delivers, and there's a fly ball to right. Hammond has it for the out. 2 away for Ripken. Cal is 2 for 2. He has doubled, scored, and driven in a run. Pitch to Cal, ball 4. So Frost says not been a night he wants to remember. And we have ourselves a pitching change. Hey, it's Baseball Demo's brother Mike on the mound. We have a pitching change. This game is coming to you from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Kind of looks like Baseball Demos, too, if you take away the glasses and the beard and the whole facial structure. So Armstrong making his 34th relief appearance of the year. He is 6-2 on the replay with a save and an ERA of 4.85. He's been quite unlucky. His last time out was on the 2nd of August. An inning and a third against the Tigers where he gave up 2 hits. A run it was earned. He walked 2 and struck out none. So 59 and a third innings, 45 hits, 9 home runs, 34 in total, 32 earned runs, matches his walk total, and he has struck out 49. So Joe Nolan is 1 for 2. He has singled, struck out, and scored. Frost pitched several years for the Angels. That's right, 16 and 10 the year that they went to the American League Championship Series. I forgot about that. And yep, he could just look like me except for the face. It's your brother from another mother. Don't you know that? So 2 out for Nolan. Armstrong deals. Ripken on first. Ground ball to White. Flips it over to first. And that will retire the side. So the Orioles chase the starter out. 1 run on 1 hit and no errors. David Frost is gone. Or Frost is gone after 5. Baltimore 5. Kansas City 1. Brett, McRae, and Akins for the Royals here in the 6th. George is 0 for 2. Davis deals, and there's a ground ball to Ripken on the grass. Quick throw to Murray on the bang-banger, and Brett beat it out. So Brett still has good speed in 1982, and that'll bring up Hal McRae. So that's only the 4th hit for the Royals. Akins on deck, and Hammond to follow. Davis's pitch struck him out. He got him on a curveball outside. Admired it for its beauty and its curve. Kind of like a faucet. And it's a strikeout. So that's 7 for Davis and 5 in the 3rd. Brings up Willie Akins, who's 0 for 2. Pitch up the middle, base hit. Brett will go to 3rd. Ripken should have had that. He dove, but he dove too late. And so Akins is on with a single. Brett is on 3rd, and the Royals are in business here to start the 6th. Steve Hammond singled, stole a base, and walked. That's 1 more stolen base. She had Farrah Fawcett? Yes. The fabulous Fawcett with the awesome bathing suit. She did have curves. Pitch to Hammond is a ground ball up the middle. Davis knocked it down, but can't do anything with it. Brett will score, give Davis an error, and it's now 5-2. And so Earl, they've told him he can't smoke in the dugout, but he just lit 2 right up there. Here's Frank White. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. So Akins on 2nd. Hammond on 1st. He's reached on the air. And White actually is a tying run with 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Pitch from Storm. Fly ball to left. Back goes Lowenstein. He goes a long way, but the wind is blowing in the other way, and that's an out. So 2 out for Cesar Geronimo, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Good for Earl. Is that who won the race? Or Al? Is Al just talking about multiple cigarettes? Pitch for Geronimo. Ground ball to Murray, and that will retire the side. Takes the bag himself. The Royals threaten to put up a run. We still have a game after 5.5. A run on 2 hits and the 1 error. Baltimore 5, Kansas City. Ooh, the number 9 horse bucked his rider at the gate. Ouch, this has not been a good year for... Oh, multiple Siggies. Not been a good year for the Triple Crown, that's for sure. So Rich Dower, Len Cicada, and Al Bunbury to face Armstrong here in the bottom of the 6th. Dower singled an RBI. Here's the pitch. Struck him out. Full count right down Broadway for strike 3. Brings up Cicada, and Lenny's 0 for 2. Ground ball to White. Has time to autograph it over to Akins for the out. So 2 quick outs. And Mike Armstrong is twirling like a Dave Armstrong pun. Here's Bunbury. He's 1 for 3. Doubled, struck out. Pitch to Al is a ground ball into right field, and that's a base hit. 9th hit for the Orioles. 5-2 they lead. Here's Jim Dwyer. He's 0 for 2. He has stolen a base, his 2nd of the year, and a walk. Number 7 was in a great spot coming down the stretch, and then, like my 1960 Red Sox bullpen, it pooped itself. Pitch to Dwyer is a ground ball, base hit past White. So Bunbury will hold at second. Don't want to be the last out with 2 out. Excuse me. And that'll bring up Kenny Singleton, who's 1 for 3. So runners on first and second, 2 out. That's the 10th hit for the Birds. Pitch to Singleton, ground ball to Akins, takes it himself, and that will retire the side. No runs, 2 hits, and no errors. The Birds strand 2 after 6, Baltimore 5, Kansas City 2. Speaking of pooping yourself, remember as Jamie Quirk, Willie Wilson, and UL Washington will face Davis. Remember watching the Arlington Million a few years ago. It must have been 80, 81, somewhere in there. Back when horse racing was really a big deal on television. And one of the horses on its way into the gate, hey, just had a call from Mother Nature. And it was a rather windy, rainy afternoon in Chicago. And, well, you know, things kind of break off and fly around, if you know what I mean. Man, the 9-year-old in me had a good laugh after that. Quirk has a single. He's 1 for 1. Ground ball to Sakata over to Murray, and there's an out. So through 27 batters, Davis is cruising right along. 6 1/3 innings, 96 pitches. This won't be a CG, but he's going deep. 5 hits, 2 runs, the homer. Only 1 was earned. Davis has walked 2 and struck out 7. Willie Wilson is 1 for 3. He had the homer to start the game and then struck out the next 2 times. Pitch from Davis, and there's a base hit into right center. Dwyer gets it on a hop. And 1 out for UL Washington. No, I believe you have to see. There's a separate playoff folder that you can set up. But you've got to set that up on your own. So you click, after your regular season's done, you go to playoffs. I know I've set that up for the tournament I'm doing for Mr. Little. By the way, 2 o'clock for that one tomorrow. It'll be right here in Baltimore, as a matter of fact. Don't even need to change the field. It's the 70 Orioles hosting the 75 Red Sox. It ran faster after. Oh! That's how I lose viewers. If that broke off from the horse, blew into the bleachers, then you could say, yes, the crap really did hit the fan. Runner on first for Washington. He's 0 for 3. Davis and Nolan have a few words as you watch the stink off yourself after that one. And Washington sends that one to Dower at third. He's got to hurry. UL's got speed to throw to first, and they got him. Ho-ho! Rich Dower with a bang-bang throw to Murray to get him. And Wilson goes to second with 2 out. 5-2, Baltimore here. Here's George Brett. He's 1 for 3. He singled and scored. Pitch to George. Struck him out. Davis did his job. A 2-2 on the outside corner for strike 3. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. After 6.5 stretch time in game 1. Baltimore 5. Kansas City 2. And in the process of changing scenes and doing another video, I forgot to save all the work I had done to the baseball part of the stream, which includes the nice little logo for sports simulations and replays, and the bug for me to remind you about my Patreon page at patreon.com/retrosportsnetwork. Yep, I forgot to tell you all about that. But if you're interested in helping the channel grow and continue to produce quality entertainment like this and deliver horse poop puns, it's patreon.com at retrosportsnetwork, or patreon.com/retrosportsnetwork, and you can see which we can offer from there. Any donation would be greatly appreciated. And if you don't want to, that's fine. Just make sure you hit that like and subscribe to the channel. So I'll remember that for the next time. And as Bartles or James, I forget which one, says, thank you for your support. It'll be Eddie Murray, John Lowenstein, and Cal Ripken here in the bottom of the 7th. Murray smashed a big one to dead center his last time up. He's 1 for 2. He also struck out. Stripes fan, how are you? No, I set it up myself, but I forgot to save it. I have all these scenes into my screen just to show, like the logo and the camera and obviously the game. And when I went to tape the thing I did yesterday, I thought I had saved everything, and I did not. And so when I went to open up the baseball thing tonight, nope, just the regular stuff I had before. Pitch to Murray from Armstrong, struck him out. He swung on and missed a 1-2 fastball, 1 away. 5 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for Baltimore. They'd left 7 on. Kansas City, 2 runs, 6 hits, and an error. And they've left 7 on. How you doing, Tribe fan? Good to have you along. Birds pitching is deep. Their bullpen isn't great, but neither is Milwaukee's, if they can get that far. And they're kind of hoping for California in the ALCS, and their bullpen's terrible. Lowenstein is 1 for 3. He singled and scored. Pitch to John is a base hit up the middle. Geronimo picks it up. And a 1-out single for Cal Ripken, who's 2 for 2. He's got himself a single and a double, a walk, and a 77th RBI. Oh, don't encourage him, Tribe fan. Please do not encourage him. Armstrong delivered, struck him out. He swung on and missed a 2-2 changeup, 2 out. And so Mike has 3 strikeouts, which is about the amount of good puns that Davis had tonight. Here's Joe Nolan. Joe is 1 for 3. He has singled, scored, and struck out. 5-2 Baltimore. Don't forget, this is a doubleheader right here on Retro Sports Network. Busy night for friends of the community. Quirk goes out to talk to Armstrong. And Nolan pops this one in the left. Wilson has it, and that will retire the side. No runs, a hit, no errors. The Orioles strand 1. 7 in the books. Here in the opener, Baltimore 5, Kansas City 2. California, yeah, Sanchez isn't bad. So Storm Davis gets the fatigue warning, but Baltimore will take that as he starts the 8th. So Hal McRae 0 for 3 with the strikeout. Pitch from Davis is a fly ball deep to left. Back goes Lowenstein, and that ball is off the wall. So McRae's on with a stand-up double. And Kansas City still might make some hay here. Brings up Akins. He's 1 for 3. Willie's got himself a single. Davis delivers, and there's a shallow fly ball to right. Dwyer has it for the out. No, he's at 115. Is expected to count as 120. We'll see. Hopefully we can get him through the 8th. Steve Hammond is 1 for 2. But he's reached every time up. He's singled, he's walked, and he's reached on an error. And this time around, he hits one to Bunbury in center. Al's got it tracked down and left center for the out. 2 away. Maybe if he gets wide on 1 or 2 pitches. He's 0 for 3. Frank has struck out once. And Lee May's going to pinch hit. Well. So with a runner in scoring position, Dick Hauser wants some offense. Lee May at 305. 6 homers and 26 RBI. And looking like he's doing some serious business in that picture. So 5-2, 2 out, top of the 8th. Davis delivers, and May grounds out one into right field for a base hit. McRae's going to hold at third. And so Geronimo, the tying run. And Earl's going to play a matchup and send out Tippy Martinez. So we have ourselves a pitching change. From Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, it's the Orioles 5, the Royals 2, but the Royals have the tying run up. So Martinez has not had the chance to save many games. In fact, he really hasn't been used that much at all. He'd have to actually pitch almost every day the rest of the year to get his real-life total. 27th relief appearance. He's 5-0 with 2 saves. And an 0.82 ERA. He pitched 3 times in the Red Sox series. He went an inning and 2/3 on Wednesday night. Allowed a hit, walked 1, and struck out 2. So in 33 innings, he's allowed 17 hits, 2 home runs, 5 runs in total. 3 of them earned. He has walked 14 and struck out 28. He got the win Monday night against Boston. We'll see if Geronimo will bat. He will not. And Greg Pryor will pinch hit for Baltimore. Pryor at .312, 5 homers and 19 RBI. He is the tying run. Speaking of May, Lee's brother Carlos wore 17th because his birthday was May 17th. You haven't missed it, Phantomatic. In fact, it's the first of 2 right in a row here. So get comfortable. A busy Saturday night here with the friends of the community. Pitch to Pryor is a ground ball up the middle. Sakata over to Murray, and the Orioles get rid of it. They get out of the jam. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. 7.5 in the books in Game 1. Baltimore 5, Kansas City 2. So you get another game after this. At 9 o'clock tonight, Eastern Time, 8 Central, 6 Pacific. Dave Little and Sports Time Machine will do some wrestling chat. That's at 9 o'clock on Sports Time Machine's channel. That's at Eastern Time. And then around 10:30 tonight, chat with Al because it's Saturday night. The computer wearing me out on the mound. Oh, you got a few more pitches up your sleeve. So a busy night for the friends of the community right here, starting with Game 2 of this doubleheader. Coming up soon, Dower is 1 for 3. He is singled, drove in his 40th of the year, and struck out.
S-A-T-U-R-D-A-Y. Yeah. S-A-T-U-R-D-A-Y.
Armstrong delivers, ball 4. And so we'll see who tires first. Armstrong on the mound or the Armstrong typing the puns on the computer. Here's Sakata. Lenny 0 for 3, grounded into a double play. No? No chat with Al? Oh. Pitch to Sakata. Struck him out. So that's 4 for Mike Armstrong as he's over 50 pitches. Oh, well, happy birthday tomorrow, Phantomatic. Sorry that you're not having a good day today. Hopefully you'll have a better day tomorrow. Any card and dice players from San Diego would have to be the Bay City Rollers. Yeah, you're right. Al Bunbury is 2 for 4. He is singled, doubled, and struck out. The Bay City Rollers. Pitch to Bunbury is a base hit up the middle. Dower will hold at second. And the Orioles are... No, Dower's going... What did I do? I didn't do that. It's a bad throw, and it got past Brett, so Dower is safe. I've never seen that before. I told it not to run, and it ran anyway. And so Martin, who's in center field for whoever pinch hit. Okay, and Greg Pryor is a 3 at second. He came in. So Martin in the center, who's terrible, and Pryor a 3 at second. So the throw is so bad that Dower and Bunbury moved up on it. Although it's not scored an error. Dwyer is 1 for 3. He is singled, stole a base, and walked. Armstrong deals, ball 4, and they're loaded. Were they one-hit wonders? I said something about no chat with Al, and then you said no chat. So I think we're all a bit confused. Not as much as Kenny Singleton. He's 1 for 4. He singled and drove in, or singled and scored. They're loaded. There's a base hit. That's going to go all the way to the wall in right center. Dower. Bumbry score. Dwyer's going to go. Singleton's going to third. Pryor's going home. The throw is in time. They got him. It's a 2-run double. And Singleton goes to third on the throw as Bill Castro, Kenny's brother from another mother, comes in to pitch. So Bill Castro, 2-1 on the year, with a 4.13 ERA. This is his 12th relief appearance since coming to the Royals on July 6th. Threw 2 1/3 last night against Baltimore. 3 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 1. So in 28 1/3 innings, 26 hits, 13 runs, including 7 homers. My goodness. Walked 7 and struck out 12. Now all we need is Al Jester to pitch. Hurdle is not on the 82 Royals. So Castro lobs in a fastball at 86. That's his bread and butter. Pitch to Murray. There's a grounder to Washington. Over to Akins. Murray's got speed. Singleton's going to try and score. And he does, because the throw pulled Akins off the bag. And now we're gone from bad to worse. Lowenstein now 2 for 4 at the plate. And Baltimore seems to have game 1 under control. So the Royals are just throwing it around out there. Pitch to Lowenstein is a fly ball to center. Martin goes back and he'll turn and watch it go. And so the Orioles should be saving some runs for game 2. It's now 10-2 as Lowenstein cranks his 11th of the year. Oh, thanks, bud. I do appreciate that. So Murray and Lowenstein score. What was it? It was Gardner that was telling me today, once in a while you need a blowout. So Cal Ripken 2 for 3. Single, doubled, RBI'd, walked, and a strikeout. Pretty much done everything. 10:30. I thought so. So yeah, so a full night here on the Friends of the Community. Hurdle was on the Reds. I knew I'd seen him, and I just couldn't remember where. And Baltimore is just smoking it. Kind of like a pack of Chesterfields. Pitch to Ripken is a fly ball to center. Martin will corral that. And the inning is finally over. 5 runs on 3 hits and 1 error. After 8 in game 1, remember this is a doubleheader. Baltimore 10, Kansas City 2. So Jamie Quirk, Willie Wilson, and UL Washington to face Tippy Martinez here in game 1. Quirk 1 for 2. He singled and walked. Martinez delivers, and Quirk puts that one into center field. He's going for 2. The throw in isn't not in time. So Quirk, who has the speed of me, is on with a double. And then I'll bring up Willie Wilson, who's 2 for 4. Led off the game with a home run. So for the second straight game, he's also struck out twice. Kansas City led, and then Baltimore marched it right back. Pitch to Wilson, struck him out, so Wilson will take the caller. 2-2 pitch was swung on and missed. Well, that would be cool if Phantomatic would join us. Trey Mancini got the only hit for the real-life Orioles today. I wonder, 40 some odd years later, how this 82 Oriole team would do against Major League pitching today. UL Washington is over 4. He hasn't fared well against pitching today. He struck out twice. Right back to Tippy, over to Murray. And there's 2 out. So the Orioles are 1 out away from winning game 1. George Brett 1 for 4. He's the last chance. 2 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for Kansas City. They left 9 on. The Orioles 10 runs, 14 hits, an error, and they've left 8 on. So, as bad as it's been, it could be worse. Your girlfriend could have dumped you, and your dog could have peed on your leg. Pitch to Brett. Ball 4. We're not done yet. He brings up Hal McRae. He's 1 for 4 with a double. So Martinez, just get the one more out, and we'll go to game 2. And Nolan goes out to talk with Tippy. Martinez delivers, and McRae sends this one into center. Bunbury will have it, and game 1 is in the books. Baltimore wins this one. The 10th end. How are you, buddy? Hang on, we got game 2 in a moment. So we're not done yet, but thanks for joining us, the 10th end. Game 1, all Baltimore, 10-2. Storm Davis gets his 4th win of the year, 7 2/3 innings. He's my MVP, and Tippy Martinez gets his 3rd save. Frost did not pitch very well. Armstrong did. 3 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. And then look, we had 2 friends of the community pitch in this game. Dave Demos and Kenny Castro. Amazing as it was. All right, so game 2 coming right up from Baltimore. Baltimore goes to 65-40. They lead Detroit by 4.5 games. Kansas City at the moment falls to 5.5 back of California. They're still 60-46, but it's a hurting unit. So next week we have for you on Tuesday, it's Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. From the vet, the Phillies are 11 games behind Montreal. On Thursday afternoon, we have Kansas City and Detroit coming up for you. And then on our Saturday night game will be Montreal at Philadelphia. Time to be determined for the next Saturday game. Not doing a doubleheader. So 3 games for you next week. We're already looking forward to the 11th of August. Really, we're halfway home. It's the dog days. And so it's Pittsburgh at Philadelphia on Tuesday, Kansas City and Detroit on Thursday, and then Saturday night it'll be Montreal and Philadelphia right here on Retro Sports Network. You ready for game 2? It's Don Hood for Kansas City and Scott McGregor for Baltimore. Now it's 75 degrees. The winds are at 13. Let's play game 2. So the doubleheader, we're right here for game number 2. You know, Mr. Red Sox fan, and now a lecture from Uncle Ron. The Gail Gardner song, I think, right? We'll Sing in the Sunshine. One of my favorites as a kid. They play it all the time. You know what some poopy head in the chat did this week? He posted 17 different versions of that song on Twitter. And so it's been stuck in my head all day. It's a great song. So Scotty McGregor is 9-6 on the year with a 4.58 ERA. We'll sing in the sunshine. You know we'll laugh every day. This is Scotty's 26th start of the year. We'll sing in the sunshine, and I'll be on my way. His last start came on August 2nd against the Red Sox. He went 7 innings, 5 hits, a run it was earned. He walked 2 and struck out 1. So on a year, he's thrown 173 innings, 184 hits, allowed 23 home runs, 96 runs in total, 88 earned. He has walked 41, and he struck out 58. He did not get a decision. He only gives up the 1 run, but drew a no decision against the Red Sox on the 2nd. And so the lineup for the Royals in Game 2, Willie Wilson will lead off and play left. UL Washington will bat second and play short. Frank White, the second baseman, will bat third here in Game 2. Wow, there's no George Brett in Game 2. Amos Otis is the center fielder. He missed Game 1. He'll be here in Game 2. Hal McRae, DH, will bat fifth. Lee May will play first and bat sixth. Jerry Martin is in right. He'll bat seventh. Greg Pryor is in for George Brett. Will bat eighth, and Don Slott behind the plate. He will catch, and Hood should go about 95 pitches. Who was that? No, Brett Hurts. No, hemorrhoids was a couple years ago. I have no idea who that was, Al. None whatsoever. Okay, so the joke was, I checked Twitter in the morning. Let me set the defense for Baltimore first. Gary Renicke's a 4-3 in left. Al Bunbury at 8-6 in center. Disco Dan Ford, burn baby burn, is at 8-7 in right. Floyd Rayford is at third in Game 2. He's a 3. Cal Ripken a 5 at short. Len Cicada playing both ends of the doubleheader at second. He's a 3. Eddie Murray at 10 at first. And Rick Dempsey is a 4 and a 6 behind the plate. Okay, to step out of character for a second, I check Twitter every morning just to see what's going on and get my usual mix of news, bad Washington Nationals takes, and replay news. And so I forget what morning it was. I wake up. And Al has posted all these versions of that song. I didn't realize it had been covered so much. And as I said in that little thing there, it's actually one of my favorite songs. And he got it stuck in my head all day. Back to the game. So with all that, Willie Wilson's new average is .319. He's at 2 homers and 22 RBIs. We get ready for Game 2. Wind is now at 13 from right center, and it's cooled off to 75 degrees. Pitch to Wilson from McGregor, and that's a base hit into right. Ford will get on a hop, and that's how this one starts. So Wilson began Game 1 with a home run, and he starts Game 2 with a single. Here's UL Washington now at 255, 8 homers and 31 RBI. Throw to first, Wilson's back. McGregor deals, and Washington strikes out. A 1-2 pitch on the outside corner. 1 down. Frank White moves up to third here in Game 2. 241, 3 homers, and 32 RBI. Oh, if Dave Baseball Demos is still with us, I don't believe Susanna Hoffs did a version of that song. Pitch to White is a fly ball to left center. Bunbury has got it for the out, 2 away. So Amos Otis is at the plate. He did not play in Game 1. Picture of him is at Fenway, believe it or not. You can see the monster behind him. 292, 8 homers, and 61 RBI. Wilson, by the way, is 22 steals on the year. Throw to first, runner back. Pitch to Otis, and there's a fly ball to left. Renicke's there, and that will retire the side. No runs, a hit, and no errors. Half an inning in the books in Game 2. It is Kansas City nothing. Here comes Baltimore. And Don Hood, whose ERA is more in line instead of a half gallon of Hood ice cream or a package of Hoodsy Cups. That's the price you see for a pint of Ben & Jerry's, $6.79. He is 3-2 on the year with a save, and he is making his third and last start of the season. Obviously a spot start. He pitched on the first against these Orioles. In fact, he pitched 3 times against the Orioles in Kansas City. The last time out, he was Christmas treed. 4 innings, 5 runs, all earned, and he walked 6. That's Phyllis Diller ugly, folks. But he didn't take a decision. Ouch. So in 55 2/3 innings, he's allowed 74 hits, 2 home runs, 47 total runs, and 42 of them being earned. He has walked 41. In fact, he hasn't struck out anybody in his last 7 innings plus. And struck out 28. He throws a fastball that tops out at 85. Oriole fans are giddy. The lineup he will face: Al Bunbury is leading off in center field. Lenny Cicada will bat second. Cal Ripken will bat third. Eddie Murray, the first baseman, will bat fourth. Benny Arlea is the DH, so no Kenny Singleton in Game 2. Gary Renicky will bat sixth and play left. Dan Ford will play right and bat seventh. Rick Dempsey behind the plate will go eighth, and Floyd Rayford, the third baseman, will bat ninth. Scotty McGregor through 13 pitches in the first. So get out your Hoodsie Cups, and here we go. Bunbury at 278, 4 homers and 39 RBI. Here's the pitch, and there's a ground ball to White by the bag at second. Over to May for the out. Defensively, Willie Wilson is still an 8-2. We'll just do the changes here. Otis is in center. He's a 7 and a 5. Martin is a much better right fielder. He's an 8 and a 5 in right. Greg Pryor a 4 at third. Lee May is a 2 at first. That's not very good. And Don Slott a 2 and a 6 behind the plate. Cicada at 272, 4 homers and 39 RBI. Pitch from Hood is a fly ball to right. Martin is there for the out. So Cal Ripken at 274, 23 homers, hit a long smash in the Game 1, and 77 RBI. Here's the pitch. To left center, back goes Otis. He'll make the catch for the retire the side. So no runs, no hits, no errors. After one in Game 2 of this doubleheader, Kansas City nothing. Here comes Baltimore nothing. McRae, Lee May, and Jerry Martin. So McRae at 304, 16 homers and 70 RBI. McGregor deals. Ground ball to Ripken by the bag at second. Over to Murray for the out. So Storm Davis and Tippy Martinez did the job for Baltimore in Game 1. Didn't have to steal any of Earl's cigarettes. Here's Lee Mays at 313, 6 homers and 26 RBI. McGregor deals, and there's a ground ball to Cicada. Comes in on the grass, has a quick throw to Murray, and that is another out. Brings up Jerry Martin at 277, 7 homers and 41 RBI. So if you're a fan of wrestling, come 9 o'clock Eastern tonight, 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Pacific. Go to Sports Time Machines channel as he and Epic Dave Little talk wrestling tonight on Sports Time Machines channel at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, on a packed evening of the Friends of the Community right here. Pitch to Jerry Martin is a long drive to left and gone. Renicky turned and watched that go. That was gone off the bat. So Martin hits his 8th of the year. How you doing, AP Appa Chatter? Good to have you along. So here's the Martin homer. He just kind of corked that one in the bleachers and left, and the Royals again are on the board first. 1-0 Kansas City for Greg Pryor. It was at 309, 5 homers and 19 RBI. McGregor pitch, ground ball to Ripken, and Ripken just had it glance off his glove, and Pryor is on first. So a simple ground ball that wasn't so simple for Cal. And so that's an error, and I'll bring up Don Slott. 256, 2 homers, and 10 RBI. McGregor's pitch, and that's up the middle. That gets past Cicada. Pryor moves on to third, and the Royals have runners on the corners, and 2 out for Willie Wilson. So McGregor, a first 9 and 26 pitches. That's good. Inning and 2/3. The one run, the solo shot by Martin, but now the Ripken error has kind of kept the door open. Willie Wilson singled his first time up. McGregor deals, struck him out. A 2-2 Changeup swung on and missed. So the Royals get a run on 2 hits in the air. Doesn't hurt. After an inning and a half, Kansas City 1, Baltimore nothing. So I hope you're having a good time tonight. Eddie Murray, Benny Alea, and Gary Renicky for the Orioles here in the second. Eddie at .333. Also at his 23rd homer of the year in Game 1. Has 83 RBI. There's a base hit up the middle. And Murray's on with the leadoff single. So Alea at .220. 3 homers, 11 RBI. So Tuesday, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia at lunch. Mouse moved up. Pitch to Alea is popped up right side. May, lots of foul territory here. But somebody from Glen Ross got that one. And Rex Barney wants to sign him to a contract. The count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Alea sends this one into deep center. Back goes Otis to the track. He makes the catch. And Murray goes back to first. 1 out for Gary Renicky. Gary at .309, 10 homers and 42 RBI. Pitch from Hood, popped up right side, White, infield fly, 2 out. Dan Ford, .252, 9 homers and 48 RBI. Game 2 of this twin bill, the Orioles took the first one 10-2. 1-0 Kansas City, bottom of the second here in Game 2. My mouse keeps moving. Here's the pitch to Ford. There's a base hit left side. It got past Washington. Murray goes into third. Ford on with a single. And that'll bring up Dempsey. Rick at .277, 4 homers and 27 RBI. So 2 on, 2 out, second inning. 1-0 Royals. Pitch from Hood. And that's a pop-up into the right field. Martin is there, and that will retire the side. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. We played 2 in Game 2. Kansas City 1, Baltimore nothing. So thanks for hanging along here as we get to the meat of Game 2 of this doubleheader. UL Washington struck out his first time up, and if you weren't with us in Game 1, we learned that his given name is UL. Struck him out. McGregor got him on a 1-2 curveball. So that's 3 for Scotty, and that'll bring up Frank White, who's 0 for 1. It's amazing what you learn doing these games. McGregor deals, and White slashes that one up the middle. That's going to drop in front of Bumbry. And that's the 4th hit for Kansas City here in Game 2. So Otis. Amos is 0 for 1. Pitch from McGregor. Otis hits this one into left field. That's going to drop in front of Renicky for a hit. White moves on to third, and the Royals are in business. Runners in the corners, and 1 out for Hal McRae. McRae had 133 RBI on the real year. He has 70 in the replay. By the way, game 107 for Kansas City and 106 for Baltimore. McRae is 0 for 1, and he's not anymore. That's a base hit into center field. White will score. And so the Royals need a split. And we could all use a banana split. It's 2-0 as White scores. Here's May. He's 0 for 1. McGregor deals. Ball 4, and so they're loaded. Otis on third, McRae on second, May on first for Jerry Martin, who hit that long blast into the bleachers and left in the second. He's 1 for 1. Liner right back to McGregor. 1-2 fastball put right back there, and McGregor makes the reflex catch. And that'll bring up Greg Pryor, who's 0 for 1. He deals. Pryor. Ground ball to Ripken. To Sakata for the force, and that will retire the side. But the Royals get a big run on 3 hits and no errors. They've left 6 on through 3 after 2.5. It's the Royals 2. Baltimore nothing. And here comes Floyd Rayford. Floyd at 196, 3 homers and 7 RBI. Pitch. Here's a high fly ball to right or left center. Otis is there to make the catch. 1 out for Bunbury. So Hood, 30 pitches for 9 batters, 2 1/3 innings, 2 hits. And nothing else. No runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Bunbury's 0 for 1. Pitch to Hood. Here's a ground ball to White. Over to May for the out. ID, what you got coming up this week on your channel, buddy? Lenny Cicada's 0 for 1. Hood delivers. And there's a fly ball right center. Martin goes back by the Orioles pen to make the catch. No runs, no hits, no errors. We've played 3, Kansas City 2, Baltimore nothing. Don Slott and then Wilson and Washington as we flip the lineup here in the 4th. Slott single his first time up. McGregor's pitch. There's a fly ball to center. Bunbury's there. 1 away. Willie Wilson is singled and struck out. McGregor threw 18 batters, 65 pitches, 3 1/3 innings. 6 hits, 2 runs, the homer to Martin. He has walked 1 and struck out 3, including Wilson once. Pitch to Wilson, struck him out. Full count was swung on and missed, strike 3. So that's 4 for Scotty. 2 out for UL Washington, who was struck out twice today. New 1992 Pittsburgh Pirates replay, according to ID Jester. Using Fall Classic Baseball, trying to finish the 2016 World Series and the 2018 World Series. You're doing the 2018 World Series in Deep Drive Baseball, which is one of Kenny Castro's favorite games, I think. In fact, you actually had the... Did you realize you actually had the developer in there that night? And I forget what you're playing the 2016 World Series in. I think you're doing that in Fall Classic as well, right? All right. Pitch to Washington, 2 out. And there's a base hit in the right field. Ford picks it up off a hop. And that's his 7th Kansas City hit. So UL Washington has 10 steals on the year. Frank White is 1 for 2. He has singled and scored. Throw to first, Washington back. No, they got him. Ho, ho, ho. They picked him off first. McGregor, the lefty, just kind of had that toothpick waggling in his eye, peripheral vision. Murray got it, threw to Ripken covering, and Ripken made the tag, and that's the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 3.5 in the books. Kansas City 2, Baltimore nothing. And you did the giveaway for that. So that was kind of cool. So it's Ripken, Murray, and Ilea for the Orioles here in the 4th. Monday night, I'll have Anthony Crooks from Bleacher Bums Gaming as we discuss Glory Days boxing. You should go into... Now, Al, I don't think is here. I think, he's gone and listened to We'll Sing in the Sunshine again. In fact, I'm sure Al will make me sing it tonight on Chat with Al. Al ran a 15-round fight between Rocky Marciano and I believe it was Joe Frazier last night. That was out of this world. You should go watch that if you're interested in that sort of thing. And so we'll have the creator of the game on Monday night, Anthony from Bleacher Bums Gaming, right here in the Ron Juckett Show on Retro Sports Network. Cal is 0 for 1 in Game 2. Hood delivers, and there's a fly ball to right. Otis is there, 1 away. Dale, glad to have you back, buddy. Eddie Murray singled his first time up. He's got 110 hits on the year. And this is the Orioles, as I said, 106th game. 1 out. Bottom of the 4th. Murray, ground ball to Washington on the grass. Over to May. Murray's got wheels, but not that fast. 2 out. So Hood, who, as I said, came in the game with a 6.79 ERA, has kept the Orioles off kilter. Here's Ilea. He's 0 for 1. The number 9 horse, I think, won the race. Ilea sends this one into left center. Back goes Wilson, and he makes the catch to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. We've done with 4 in Game 2. Kansas City 2, Baltimore nothing. If you're talking about Game 1 of the doubleheader we did, Baltimore won that 10-2. So Frank White, Amos Otis, and Hal McRae for the Royals here in the 5th. White 1 for 2. He is singled and scored. McGregor delivers, and there's a base hit in the left field. Renicky has got it, and they'll throw it back in. Oh, 9 lost at Port Jockey. That's right. The number 1 horse won. And of course, the Derby winner and the Derby DQ did not race this week. Amos Otis is 1 for 2. He is singled. And if you're missing the hockey tonight, well, maybe Carolina should have beat Boston in the game. So the Bruins will host Game 1 of the Stanley Cup coming up after the Western Conference Finals done. Pitch to Otis is a base hit, gone. That was more than a base hit. That was a line drive into right center, and all Danny Ford could do was turn and watch it go. That's his 9th of the year. Let's watch it again, and that ball was just crushed. So Otis and White score 4-0 Kansas City here in the top of the 5th. Brings up Hal McRae. Hal is 1 for 2. He is singled and driven in his 71st of the year. Pitch from McGregor is a fly ball to left center. Bumbry's there for the out. Game 1 of the Cup final is Memorial Day night. And ID is written for the Blues. And I would venture to guess that maybe hand passing will be discussed in the offseason, gentlemen. God, that was so blatantly obvious. Here's Lee May. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Pitch to May is a liner into left field that's going to drop in front of Renicky. And for McGregor, that's his 10th hit. Allowed. Here's Jerry Martin. He's 1 for 2. He's hit a solo shot. So Earl is puffing those Chesterfields. Wanted the sweep. He still might get it. It's only a 4-run game. But Kansas City hoping to salvage something out of this. Remember, this is a rare 5-game series, and the Orioles have won the first 2. Dempsey goes out to check with McGregor. Now the pitch to Martin is a ground ball base hit left side, and here comes Earl. Earl's seen enough. You know who's going to make his 1982 debut? The bane of my senior year of high school, Mike Boddicker. This might be Boddicer's first ever appearance. On the real season, he went 1-0 with a 3.51 ERA. In 25 2/3 innings, he allowed 25 hits, including 2 home runs. He walked 12 and struck out 20. He was not available in Game 1. He was called up for Game 2. And he can throw up to 60 pitches. If they play their cards right, that should get him into the 8th inning. So here's Greg Pryor. He's 0 for 2. He can bunt. Struck him out, and Mike Boddicer's 82 begins with the 5-pitch strikeout. 93-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside half of the plate. Here's Don Slott. Don is 1 for 2. Boddicker, if you're wondering, was traded to the Red Sox 6 years later in '88 for Brady Anderson. Brady was another hot Red Sox prospect. Is that the deal that also sent Curt Schilling to Baltimore? Because Curt was with the Red Sox. Brady's biggest claim to fame was being a punch and Judy hitter until the year they took enough steroids to pop 50 home runs. Never did that again. Pitch to Slot. Ground ball foul, third base side. So the count is 2-2. Boddicker did feature a beautiful curveball that with Boston often found the netting in the Green Monster. Slot strikes out. Fastball got him. He's not featuring the curve now. Swung on and missed. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors. Halfway home in Game 2. It's the Royals 4, Baltimore nothing. And so as Gary Renicky steps up to the plate, let's go through the box score. so far here in Game 2. Don Hood has thrown a 2-hitter. And yep, I think you're as surprised as he is. McGregor is done. Scott, 4 1/3 innings, 11 hits, 4 runs, all earned, the 2 homers. He walked 1 and struck out 4. Amos Otis with 2 RBI. And the 2 hits for Baltimore belong to Murray and Ford. So here's Renicky. He's 0 for 1. Ford and Dempsey to follow. Pitch from Hood. Struck him out. So Hood got, oh man, Renicky wanted a fastball, and Hood gave him an Uncle Charlie, a split finger, only at 74. So that's the first strikeout from Hood. Here's Dan Ford. Single his first time up. Here's the pitch, and there's a base hit in the left center field. Wilson cuts it off, and Ford is on with a single. He has 2 of the 3 Baltimore hits. Here's Rick Dempsey, who's 0 for 1. Hood's pitch. Fly ball, shallow right. Martin has it. More in right center, and that's an out. So 2 out for Floyd Rayford, who is 0 for 1. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. And so Baltimore finally has a runner in scoring position for Al Bumbry, who was 0 for 2. Hood threw 18 batters, 4 2/3 innings, 65 pitches. 3 hits, no home runs. He has walked 1 and struck out 1. Bumbry, ground ball to May, and May is a bad fielder, but he gets it off several hops off his knee and retires the side. How about that? He booted it around, picked it up, and ran it to first. Bumbry is fast, but he just happened to boot it towards first. How about that? No runs, 1 hit, no errors. So opportunity wasted for the Orioles after 5. Kansas City 4. Baltimore nothing. So brings up the top of the order for Boddicker. Wilson, Washington, and White. That sounds like a law firm, doesn't it? Willie's 1 for 3. He has singled and struck out twice. It sounds like what he did in the first game, except for there's a home run in there. And he goes down by way of the K again. A 1-2 fastball. Strike 3 called. And so Boddicker has faced 3 batters and struck them all out. Here's UL Washington. Feast or famine for him today. 1 for 3, a single and 2 strikeouts. What did Ron took the day off is essentially what Ron did. He was supposed to do something else, but he essentially just took the day off. So game 2 of this doubleheader, the Orioles took the first one 10-2. And Kansas City leads 4-0 here in the top of the 6th of Game 2. Pitch to Washington, ball 4. So that brings up Frank White. He is 2 for 3. He has singled and scored twice. Throw to first, Washington back. Throw home. There goes Washington. The throw down to Sakata, and UL has got his 11th steal of the year. That throw was not even close. So White has singled twice, and now he's got a runner in scoring position. I'm allowed. Yeah, you're right. Pitch to Frank is a base hit into left center field. He's going for 2. The run scores. The throw is not in time. And that's the 12th hit for Kansas City. The wind is howling in from right at 20, and it's 73 degrees. So the Royals are hoping to get a split. Amos Otis, 2 for 3 with a big home run, his 9th of the year. 2-run shot and a 63 RBI. Pitch from Boddicker is a base hit into right field. White will round third and hold. And it's runners in the corners for Hal McRae. Hal is 1 for 3. Single and RBI. Sakana, Ripken, and Murray whenever the Orioles bat again. Boddicker deal. Struck him out. He swung on and missed at a fastball. And that's 4 for Boddicker. All 4 outs for Boddicker have come by way of the K. Here's Lee May. He is 1 for 2. He has singled and walked. Boddicker deal struck him out. A 2-2 strike 3 call, and that's the inning. 1 run on 2 hits and no errors. After 5.5, Kansas City 5, Baltimore nothing. 13 hits for Kansas City, and they've left 10 on. Sakata's 0 for 2. Don Hood, of all people, was pitching this great game. Sakata rips that one past the middle, and he's on with... Nope, he's not. It's a sinking liner that Otis was positioned perfectly for. 1 out. You know it's your lucky day when you're getting those. Here's Cal Ripken. He's 0 for 2. Hoodsy deals, and there's a ground ball to Washington. Over to May. At first, 2 away. Eddie Murray's got one of the Orioles' 3 hits. 1 for 2, and that one's up the middle. Otis says, I've got it, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. We played 6. Kansas City 5, Baltimore nothing. So Jerry Martin, Greg Pryor, and Don Slott as we start the 7th. Martin 2 for 3. He has singled twice. No, I'm sorry. He's singled and homered. Now, homer came in the 2nd. Boddicker seems okay. Pitch to Martin. That one is gone. So Martin sends his second one into the bleachers in left field this afternoon, or tonight. And that's his 9th of the year, and it's 6-0 Kansas City. Martin just crushed that one. And so the Royals are going to probably get their split. Hopefully with some nice fudge sauce and a couple cherries on some vanilla ice cream and a fresh banana. I don't do strawberry sauce on a banana split. That's gross. Here's Greg Pryor. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Boddicker winds and deals, and Boddicker has whiffed 6. All 6 of Mike's outs have come via the strikeout. This time Pryor watched strike 3. So 1 out for Slott, who was 1 for 3 with a strikeout. Ball 4. So the 3-0 fastball was hot, just a bit outside. For Willie Wilson, who has struck out 3 times and singled, 1 for 4. Boddicker deals, and that's a base hit into right, and Wilson's going for 2. Slott's going to score. Is Wilson going for 3? He is. That got past forward, and Wilson's in with a triple. And so everything that went wrong for Kansas City in Game 1 has gone right for them in Game 2. And Earl, with a lit Chesterfield in hand, comes out to bring in Sammy Stewart, who's coming in relief. We got ourselves another pitching change. This game is coming to you from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. So Stewart only has one more scheduled start. That's August 27th. So back to the pen he goes. He is 8-4 on the year with a save and a 4.03 ERA. This is his 27th appearance, his 16th out of the pen. He last started against the Red Sox, his future team, on August 3rd. He went 7 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, only 2 earned. He took the loss. He walked 1 and struck out 5. So in 89 1/3 innings, 99 hits, 2 home runs, 49 total runs, 40 of them earned. He has walked 39 and struck out 39. So Wilson, following the triple, was on third. 7-0, top of the 7th, 1 out. UL Washington is 1 for 3. He has singled, walked, and struck out twice. Stewart deals, ground ball to Murray. Will take it to the bag himself. Wilson will score. It's 8-0 Kansas City. So it brings up Frank White, who's 3 for 4. He singled twice and doubled. Scored twice. Stewart deals, and there's another ground ball to Murray. He takes it to the bag for the out. Let's go Sharks. Uh-oh. Harper hit a 525-foot home run tonight against Colorado. Is that in Philadelphia, Dale, or a cheapie at Coors? ILA is 0 for 2. Pitch from Hood is a fly ball to right. Martin in the corner makes the catch for the out. Renicky and Ford to follow. If you were expecting someone with an ERA close to 7 to shut down the first-place team in the American League East, you'd be smoking that banana peel that is in Kansas City split. Cheaply in Philly, nothing cheap about a 525-foot home run. Pitch to Renicky is a line drive to Pryor at third, and he'll make the catch. 2 out for Dan Ford, who has 2/3 of the Baltimore hit parade in Game 2. He is singled twice. Eddie Murray has the other hit. Hood delivers, and there's another hit for Dan Ford. This time it's a single up the middle, and Ford is 3 for 3. Yeah, 525 isn't cheap. Rick Dempsey is 0 for 2. Rayford to follow. Pitch from Hood. Dempsey, slow grounder to White at second, over to May, and that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. We played 7, Kansas City 8, Baltimore nothing. Otis, McRae, and May. Amos is 0 for 3, and the Otis Elevator Company lifted his 9th of the year. In the center, he's driven in 2 and now is 63. RBI. Stewart deals, popped up left side. Rayford is there for the out. 1 away here in the 8th. Al McRae 1 for 4. Singled, has an RBI and a strikeout. McRae in this left center or right center field, he's going to have an extra base hit. That's a double. And that's the 16th hit for Kansas City here in Game 2. Bud W. asked a good question. If you play APA, do you know if APA uses the best season for players in their Hall of Fame set, or pre and post era sets? And APA Chatter says, I believe they use the best seasoning for their best seasons for their bat sets. Okay, thank you very much. Lee May is 1 for 3. He has singled, walked, and struck out. McRae on second. Here's the pitch. Liner right to Ripken, who's got it. 2 out. And Jerry Martin, who has 2 home runs, 2 solo shots today, is 3 for 4 in Game 2. 8-0 Kansas City. 8 runs on 16 hits and no errors for the Royals. They've left 10 on. Baltimore, no runs, 4 hits, and 1 error. Sammy Stewart deals. Martin ground ball to third. Rayford to Murray. And that will retire. No, it won't, because it got away. So Rayfield threw it away. It got beneath Murray's glove, and it ends up in the dugout. And so Earl spits on it some, and Jerry Martin goes to second. And then I'll bring up Greg Pryor. Second error for the Orioles in Game 2. Pryor is 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Up the middle, base hit. Bumbry picks it up. Martin's going to score, so this time the error is costly. 10-0 Kansas City. Brings up Don Slott. 1 for 3 with a run scored. So a single, a walk, and a strikeout. And Sammy's just, it's your game, buddy. Just do what you need to do. Pitch to Slott. Pryor goes. That's going to land in front of Ford. Pryor goes to third. And Slott's on with a single. And that brings up Willie Wilson. This is his 6th time through the lineup for Kansas City. Willie is 2 for 5. He has singled, hit his 3rd triple of the year, and struck out 3 times. Pitch to Wilson. Ground ball to Ripken. Only play. Oh, he's going to go for first. Willie's got wheels. And that was costly. It's 11-0 as another run scores. Slott had no speed. I don't know why Ripken didn't go to second for the fielder's choice, and then I'll bring up UL Washington. He is 1 for 4. a single and RBI. Has struck out twice. Pitch from Stewart. Fly ball to left. Renicky has it, and that retires the side. Kansas City making a mockery out of this one. 3 runs, 4 hits, and an error. 7.5 in the books. Crowd thinning out here like my hair. Kansas City 11, Baltimore nothing. And now, Gardner, I chatted with Dave. We'll talk about this throughout the course of the inning. Rayford, Bunbury, and Cicada against the mighty Don Hood, who was throwing 7 shutout innings here. Rayford walked, he's 0 for 1. And he sends this one into right. Martin's there, 1 away. Gardner, the bum. And I were chatting after my dinner and before the doubleheader, and he says to me, Ron, I'm not making this up. We actually did this conversation. Ron, a blowout to have every once in a while is good. We've had 2. Here's Bunbury. He's 0 for 3. So let's see what Jim Hauser will do with Hood, who should be tired at this point. Pitch to Bunbury is a base hit left side. Gets past Washington and Al's on first. So Lenny Cicada is 0 for 3. And that was an Al Red Sox game. Dead center, I guess. Bobby Catalano, how are you? Long time no see. Hope you are okay. Cicada is 0 for 3. Only the 5th hit for the Orioles. Hood's pitch, and there's a ground ball to Washington. To White at second for 1. Over to May, and I think they turned it. Call it 2. Yes, sir. No runs, a hit, no errors. After 8. Kansas City 11, Baltimore nothing. So Frank White, Amos Otis, and Hal McRae to face Sammy Stewart here in the 9th. 11 runs on 19 hits for the Royals in Game 2, and they have no errors. And it could be worse. They've left 12 runners on. Orioles no runs, 5 hits, and 2 errors. So the Orioles win Game 1 10-2, and as the wind howls in at 20 from right field, 72 degrees the temperature. White 3 for 5 has hit his 26th double of the year and 2 singles. Stewart, ground ball to second. Cicada for Murray for the out. So I told you at the end of Game 1 you would think that Baltimore would want to save some runs for Game 2. It'll be Ripken, Murray, and Alea for the Orioles in the 9th. Amos Otis 3 for 5 with a homer and 2 RBI. And Otis lifts that one into left center field. That's going to drop for a bloop base hit, and that's the 4th hit for Otis. Here's Hal McRae. He is 2 for 5. A double, an RBI, and a run scored. Not sure if Al is still watching the chat or not. What fight is that, bud? Pitch to McRae. Ground ball to Ripken on the grass, and he's going to eat that one up, too. Well, Earl has just gone full. He's just taking the stuffing out of his Chesterfield now. That's Ripken's 2nd error of the game and 3rd overall. Oh, is it Wilder fighting tonight? Okay. And Brazil. Wonder how much that fight cost. Lee May is 1 for 4. He's got himself a single, a walk, and a strikeout. Speaking of boxing, Anthony Crooks from Bleacher Plums Gaming, the creator of Glory Days Boxing, is with me on the Ron Juckett Show Monday night right here on Retro Sports Network. That, by the way, was the 20th hit for Kansas City. Everybody's got at least one. Oh, wow, Showtime. Okay, no pay-per-view. Okay. Pitch from Stewart. Ground ball to Rayford. Takes Otis himself. Long throw to first. Is this going to be the 5-5-3? Yes, sir. And it's a double play. 5-5-3 on the card. No runs, a hit, and 1 error. We mercifully go to the bottom of the 9th. Kansas City 11. Baltimore nothing. And Kenny Castro's coming out to pitch again. So Bill pitched in game 1 of the doubleheader. He's 2-1 still on the year, and the ERA drops to 4.08. Well, wait a minute. Is it on pay-per-view or is it on Showtime itself? This is Bill's 13th appearance. He went a third of an inning and gave up 2 runs. However, they were not earned on a hit. Cal Ripken is 0 for 3. Pitch from Castro is a ground ball to White over to May, and there's 1 out. Eddie Murray's 1 for 3. Got a single. Orioles held to 5 hits, 11 runs, 20 hits, no errors for the Royals. And they've left 13 on. Murray pops this one up left side. Washington has it 2 out for Benny Ilea. And we're going to pinch hit Ken Singleton. Last chance here. Do you think the Orioles can score 11 runs down to their last out? Oh, okay. So if you don't have Showtime, you can buy the fight. And if you have Showtime, it's free. Okay. Pitch to Singleton, and that's gone. A pinch hit, 2 out, bottom of the 9th home run, ends the shutout. And Baltimore's on the board 11-1. And so for those of you who stuck around, the 5 people left in the stadium, there it is again. Ken Singleton with a pinch hit home run. So now, can they get 10 runs down to your final out? Gary Rennick, he's 0 for 3. He has a strikeout. Here we go, comeback. Castro delivers, struck him out, and the ball game's over. So 1 run, 1 hit, and no errors. The homer by Singleton, the lone highlight for Baltimore. Give Don Hood a cigar or some of his own ice cream cups. The Royals take the doubleheader, second game of the doubleheader, 11-1. So Amos Otis goes 4 for 6. But our player of the game is Don Hood, who goes to 4-2 on the year. 8 innings, 5 hits of shutout baseball. He walked 1 and struck out 1. And then Kenny Bill Castro goes the 9th, gives up the solo shot to Singleton. McGregor and Boddicker. Boddicker retired all 6 via strikeouts, but gave up 4 runs on 4 hits in the process. And Sammy Stewart just trying to stay loose. So that'll do it. So the doubleheader is complete. Baltimore wins game 1 10-2, and then Kansas City took the nightcap here in this Twi-Nighter 11-1. And so if you add up the scores of both games together, you had a good game. But they were 2 separate games. All right, so Tuesday we will have Pittsburgh and Philadelphia from Philadelphia. That game is at noon. On Thursday, it'll be actually, they're the same day. So I'm going to go with Kansas City and Detroit on Thursday at noon. No, I'm going to go with, Philadelphia and Montreal from the Vet is going to be the Thursday noon game. And the next Saturday night, time to be determined, it'll be Kansas City at Detroit. I'm Ron Juckett. As Al says, thanks for, Hood was milking it. You got it. So there you go. A doubleheader. Wish they were closer games. And a half-hour Sports Time Machines channel wrestling chat with him and Dave Little. 10:30 tonight. Chat with Al on our Red Sox fan channel. Al's probably going to make me sing the greatest hits of Gail Gardner. Or it's just one anyway. Hit that like and subscribe. Like the channel a lot. Check out my Patreon at patreon.com/RetroSportsNetwork and see what's available there. Baseball, that 70s tournament tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern, early time because of Brooks Koepka capturing the PGA Championship from Baltimore. It's the 75 Red Sox in Baltimore and the 70 Baltimore Orioles. Until later tonight, I'm Ron Juckett. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.